It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show. Yo, with Mike Guido.
And here we go. It's a Friday, and it's the Haystack on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, my producer, Matt Catarozolo, Big J journalist. I'm not used to having you here this many days of the week anymore. I'm not.
All right, dude, all right, then I'll stop coming.
Yeah, you know what? I'd like that.
If I'm making you uncomfortable.
I'm kidding, Matt. I love you.
I think Matt deserves a raise.
All right, plenty of stuff to go over today. Conference championship games this weekend in the NFL. Absolutely loaded. I think we're going to get a really entertaining matchup in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you what that is next, coming up a little bit later. It is Friday, so that means Friday Athlete Deathmatch at the end of the show today. Ray Anzelowitz comes on at, I believe, about 12:30. I'm still waiting on a text back. Thanks a lot, buddy. It is Mock Draft Friday, so Matt and I came up with an idea that we would do a mock draft today because that's what he wanted to do.
Just the first round, though.
Well, yeah, we're not
going
to do all seven.
All 7 rounds.
All 7 rounds plus undrafted free agency.
No, just the first. That's fine. I'm cool with that. All right. But let's begin today with OBJ. Here's the problem that people are pointing out. Right? If you don't know the story about what Odell Beckham Jr. is going through right now, it has everything to do with the decision that he made and not the act in which he made it. Okay? Think about this for a second. So Odell, after LSU wins the national championship game, goes on the field, starts handing out money to players that are going to the NFL. And then he goes into the locker room, is celebrating with the team, and slaps a cop right in the ass. And now there's a warrant out for his arrest in Louisiana. Think about this for a second. Why in the world is Odell even getting himself involved in that crowd? Seriously, what's the point? Here's the problem I have. People could say, oh, really? What did Odell do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. Okay? I mean, slapping a cop in the ass is wrong. Don't touch cops. Like, that's stupid. But the whole money giving out thing, I could give a rip about that. I'm certain that it happens all the time behind closed doors, not in front of cameras. But that's exactly the point. Okay, he's literally doing it on the field when all the media is. There are 1 million cameras on the field with 1 million reporters and 1 million journalists. What are we doing here? Okay, the NCAA is founded on not paying its athletes. Why in the world would you make that decision? Okay, this has nothing to do with whether OBJ is a bad guy or not. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with you're making the conscious decision to hand out money, put particular kids in a bad spot because it clearly is going to get investigated by the NCAA. I mean, you could be seriously getting kids in trouble. You could get kids' scholarship pulled. I mean, use your head. Okay, just because you don't believe in a rule doesn't mean that it doesn't apply to you. It really doesn't make any sense to me. If you are that conscious to make a boneheaded decision like that, it has nothing to do with whether you were giving out money or not. It has everything to do with you were completely unaware of the effect it would have on other people. You didn't think for a second that, well, wait, these guys are still college athletes. Let's hold off on the money giving out. Like, come on, for real? Are we really going to do this today? It's a bad decision. And it just shows you what the Browns are needing to deal with OBJ and what the Giants needed to deal with OBJ beforehand. The guy is just constantly in seek for attention. I mean, it really is ridiculous. There's absolutely no way that he could make those decisions and think, yeah, this is a good idea. No, he wants the camera on him. The OBJ wants to show off the swag, and he wants to do all the... Shut up. Just stop it. Okay? OBJ's not the only LSU alum at the game. Okay? Nobody else made an ass out of themselves. For real. You don't think that any other player or LSU fan or at that game who's got some sort of clout in the world, famous, athlete, whatever, doesn't matter. OBJ was not the only guy there, but OBJ was the only guy you heard about. OBJ's the only guy that made an ass out of himself. He's the only guy that slapped a cop right in the ass. He's the only guy that's going to get arrested. Listen, we could argue about the rule all we want. We could argue about whether getting him pressing charges on him and getting him arrested is ridiculous or not. Whatever. Okay, if you're going to ask me, no, I wouldn't have pressed charges. No, it probably isn't that big of a deal. I probably don't hate the fact that he's giving out $100 bills to college athletes after they just win the national championship. I probably don't hate that. But the fact is that it's a rule. And you're not allowed to do it. So why do it? And put the kid in a bad spot? Seriously. I saw a tweet about this the other day where it said, that cop that's, kind of getting on that one kid's case because he may or may not have had a doobie in his hand and he had some weird stuff in a Gatorade bottle or something like that. You think it's fun being that cop, being the fun killer? Okay, being the party pooper in that sort of sense? No, it's not fun being that guy. Not even a little bit. He doesn't want to even be... That cop doesn't want to be there. He wants to let those kids celebrate. But because he's a cop, he's got to do his job. Okay? He probably got brought in there because they saw cigar smoke, and he's just like, all right, listen, these are a bunch of underage kids. I can't let this happen. He doesn't want to do that. That cop didn't even want to be there. And now you're smacking him on the ass? Kind of showing him up a little bit. Stop it. It's just a lack of maturity from Odell again. And I'm serious. The more and more we think about this, Odell is becoming less of a football player and more of a problem. Seriously, if I'm the Browns today, I really try to entertain trading Odell Beckham. I do. I try to trade him. I'm not into it. I am not into this whole notion that OBJ is going to translate to wins. He doesn't. Okay, Jarvis Landry, and I got this prediction right, by the way, Evan Massa. Jarvis Landry finished the season with more catches than OBJ. He's not even your best wide receiver. Get rid of the headache. You've already got one. You don't need another one. All right. Coming up next, it's mock draft time. So we're going to get through it. 32 picks. I got the odds. Matt has the evens. We'll get through that.
Did you want me to list all the ones you got wrong, though?
Evan, that's not the point.
At a left field, Evan.
You're fired. You're fired. Matt, learn how to produce.
Okay. I can try.
Oh, boy. Look, where's Speedy Petey when you need him?
All right. I know. I think he's got his hands full enough.
I don't care. You're fired. That's next. Haystack Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Oh. You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And here we go. Haystack Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Good to have you back. Mike, Evan, Matt here on a Friday. All right, it's mock draft time. So Matt and I alternate picks. I get the odds. Matt gets the evens. I did that so Matt could get the Giants and I could get the Cowboys. So it's pretty easy how I came up with that.
Works out beautifully.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. So, all right, here we go.
Here we go with the first pick in the Haystack 2020 mock draft.
The Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback LSU. It makes the most sense in the world. I mean, the guy, hometown kid, had the best statistical season ever for a college quarterback. I think he's going to be a special player. Maybe gets the Bengals off the proverbial schneid. Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU, goes to Cincinnati.
With the second pick in the Haystack 2020 mock draft, the Washington Redskins select.
Look, this might be the most obvious number 1 and 2 picks in NFL draft history. The Washington Redskins are going to select Chase Young, defensive end from Ohio State. I mean, this kid's just a freak. I was devastated when the Giants won in Week 16 or 17, whatever it was.
Guaranteed
the
Daniel Jones.
Guaranteed that Daniel Jones will be pummeled into the ground by this man for the next 10 years.
The worst win in Giants history.
Yeah, so, this is just a this should be another, just like the Burrow pick, it should be another no-brainer for the Redskins. Really bolster that pass rush and that defense, that new Jack Del Rio-led defense. So maybe him and Ron Rivera could finally get something going, and the Redskins could, climb out of mediocrity.
Chase Young in that front seven's sick.
Washington isn't mediocrity.
I hate that.
Washington isn't mediocrity.
God.
That's a dumpster fire over there. With the third pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Detroit Lions select.
I am going to take Jeffrey Okudah, the corner out of Ohio State. I think they could use another corner. Listen, they've got younger guys. Darius Slay, their star guy, is there. I like Amani Oruwariye. I understand that they've got some guys over there. But Jeffrey Okudah is a future lockdown guy. If they don't want to continue with Darius Slay, they have a guy right here, and Jeffrey Okudah might be the best player left on the board. Okudah at number 3 to the Lions.
With the fourth pick in the 2020 mock draft, here we go, Matty. The New York Giants are taking...
This is a very, very, very important pick.
Jerry.
But what I want right now, and what I very much hope happens, is that they draft Isaiah Simmons, from linebacker from Clemson. This kid is
so good.
Very, very good. He's fast. He's long. He can rush the passer. He can also defend in space. He's a great open field tackler. He's a ball hawk. He's
There
a
you
ball
go.
hawk. He really gets after the ball carrier, and he's a complete tone setter, a hard hitter on defense, and it's something that the Giants have been lacking for a very long time. I think drafting Simmons here at 4th overall, you get your franchise defensive captain for the next X amount of years. So that's when you start to get this defense moving in the right direction. So Isaiah Simmons at 4.
I love that because during the national championship game, I heard a draft guy say, I've had people reach out to me and they say, what position is Isaiah Simmons going to end up playing? And he said, defense.
Defense. Yep.
Defense. He's going to play defense. All right, here we go.
Defense. With the 5th overall pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select.
Don't let the injury cloud your vision. They will take Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback out of Alabama, their future franchise quarterback, left-handed. A lot of people view the special, decent athlete, really great accuracy, smart kid, good kid. Starts the rebuild of the franchise, their first of 3 first-round picks. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama, goes number 5 to the Miami Dolphins.
With the 6th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the LA Chargers select.
I think this is time. I think it's time now. I think the Chargers are definitely in win-now mode. Ugly season this year, kind of led by Phillip Rivers on a pretty steady decline. So I think they take advantage here and they draft Justin Herbert, quarterback from Oregon. One of the
makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. He can sit for a while if the Chargers decide not to explore trade options with Phillip Rivers. Get some good men. If he stays with the team.
Even with Tyrod Taylor, they can.
Right. Even with Tyrod Taylor, there's a lot of good veteran presence there to mentor him for possibly taking the starting job eventually, and I think this is just it's a great situation for him to be in. There's weapons and Pro Bowlers all around this kid. I think Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers at 6.
Let's just see if the Chargers look at Bridgewater.
Another option, yeah.
With the 7th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Carolina Panthers select.
This is, I think, their biggest team need. I know Luke Kuechly retired, but after Isaiah Simmons is gone, I don't really think that there's a linebacker you could take in the top 10. They're going to take Derek Brown, the interior defensive lineman from Auburn. This guy was a massive disruptor on the inside of the line. He's a great run stopper who's quick enough to be a pass rusher. They're getting older on the interior. They've got to get solid up in their front 7. Derek Brown should be ready to start right away. He'll be disruptive from day 1. Derek Brown to Carolina makes a lot of sense.
With the 8th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select.
I think this is going to be a coin flip, but between two very good receivers. But I think the Arizona Cardinals take Oklahoma receiver CeeDee Lamb at number 8. Look, this franchise took a chance on Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. We saw this last season, what Kyler Murray could do. He looks like he could be your guy moving forward. I think bolstering that offense with CeeDee Lamb moving forward, reestablishing that Oklahoma connection between him and Murray would be something special to watch. Lamb is an incredible receiver. Pro comp, I think, was DeAndre Hopkins. So I think they're going to go here with CeeDee Lamb at 8.
With the 9th pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
This is something that I've seen for a while, and I see Jacksonville taking a tackle, and I don't really see that happening. I just don't. I think they've got 2 good tackles already. Cam Robinson on the left, Jawan Taylor on the right. They have 2 good tackles. Interior line, there isn't a guy that you can take here. Crazy to think, but I think they're going to go heavy defense, but to be honest, all the defensive guys that they would take this early are gone. I think they were hoping for Isaiah Simmons. Right now, I am going to take Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver out of Alabama. I think he's the best route runner in the class. He could be the best route runner that we've seen in the past decade. Seriously, I think this guy's going to be a future superstar receiver, and you're giving Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew, whoever's going to start at quarterback next year for you, that some more receivers. You're giving him a better chance to succeed, make that offense a little bit more potent. Jerry Jeudy, Alabama, goes to Jacksonville at 9. I don't love it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
With the 10th overall pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select.
Cleveland Browns have a lot of areas to address. They made the coaching change. They have Stefanski coming in now. Hopefully that whole offense can figure things out, and the cure to all problems in the NFL can be started by improving the offensive line. So I think they're going to take Jedrick Wills here off the tackle from Alabama. So I think it's just protect Baker Mayfield, give him time so he doesn't make any more bad decisions, throw as many interceptions as he did this season. Hopefully get this offense rolling, get a little bit more protection, a full season of Kareem Hunt now, also along with Chubb. Just get this offense going in the right direction, and I think they do that here with Wills at 10.
So, Evan, recap the top 10 for us. Well, I don't want listeners to get lost, so what do we have through the first 10?
Well, I actually lost. I actually don't.
Oh, excellent.
I don't have the names either.
Oh, excellent. So great job, Evan. You're doing a great job producing, buddy.
All right,
you're off to a very hot start.
We got the Bengals taking Joe Burrow at 1, the Redskins taking Chase Young at 2, the Lions taking Jeffrey Okudah at number 3, the Giants taking Isaiah Simmons at 4, the Dolphins draft Tua Tagovailoa, the Chargers take Justin Herbert, the Panthers draft Derek Brown, the Cardinals draft CeeDee Lamb. We got Jerry Jeudy to the Jaguars at 9 and Jedrick Wills to the Browns at 10.
All right, so here we go.
Perfect.
You're terrible.
Thanks, Mike.
I love you, Evan. Don't worry.
All right.
Actually, I hate you.
I know the truth, Mike. I know the truth. With the 11th pick in this Haystack 2020 mock draft, the New York Jets select.
Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, Georgia. It makes a lot of sense. Look, if this ends up happening, they shouldn't be upset. I don't think the Jets like any other lineman. I think they're going to draft. They're going to try and fill up their offensive line with brand new tackles, brand new guards. Jerry Jeudy would be the sexy pick here. He's fast. He's a great route runner. He'd help Sam Darnold a ton. But Andrew Thomas up front on the offensive line, I think, would improve that O-line incredibly. He's versatile. He can play guard if you need him to. But he'd be able to slide in right at left tackle and start right away. Andrew Thomas to the Jets makes a lot of sense.
With the 12th overall pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Oakland Raiders select.
The Las Vegas Raiders now.
Oh, yeah, Las Vegas Raiders.
I'm going to take them taking Henry Ruggs, wide receiver from Alabama.
Good pick.
A really good pick here. Fills a really big hole. He could be your wide receiver 1 going forward. New city. These fans are expecting a lot. I think Gruden's done a really nice job with the pieces that he's had around him. Josh Jacobs. I mean, that kid's a franchise running back. He's a sensational rookie year. You want to get Derek Carson weapons. That defense looks like it has a promising young core over the next couple of years. Jonathan Abrams, Max Crosby, all these guys. So I think drafting Ruggs here at 12 kind of gets your offense going in the right direction it needs to go. Henry Ruggs at 12 to the Raiders.
With the 13th pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Indianapolis Colts select.
I am going to take Javon Kinlaw at 13. Here's my thing. I think that one of the biggest weaknesses that Indianapolis has is on the defensive line. I think they've done a really good job in the secondary. They have some nice linebackers. Darius Leonard's a really good linebacker. Javon Kinlaw, here's the thing. He's 6'6", 310, and the guy moves like a pass rusher. He is so quick, so strong, and he's going to blow away the testing period. Don't be surprised if Javon Kinlaw solidifies himself as a top 10 pick after the testing is done. But as of right now, I'm going to take Javon Kinlaw for the Colts at number 13.
With the 14th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Denver Broncos select.
No. Tampa Bay.
I got the Buccaneers here.
Tampa Bay.
I got the Buccaneers here taking Tristan Wirfs from Iowa, offensive tackle. Again, Bruce Arians, this is a big year for him in terms of decision making with Jameis Winston coming off a 30-30 season. Never seen it before. We need to get this man on track, see if he can actually give him one more chance to really establish whether or not he can effectively command your offense, and he needs pass protection to do that. I think Tristan Wirfs coming out of Iowa can do a really nice job helping him do that. So Wirfs at 14 for the Buccaneers.
Okay, now we go to the Denver Broncos with the 2020 Haystack mock draft number 15. They select.
Well, the Denver Broncos are really pissed because they were hoping for Tristan Wirfs at 15. Listen, they're getting
a trade.
No, they're getting a little older at corner. Chris Harris is getting a little bit older. They don't have much beyond that. So they're going to take Christian Fulton, the corner out of LSU. I think he can rise up after the testing. He's got good size for a corner, can play slot, can play on the perimeter. Christian Fulton's a really nice player. Showed it at LSU this year. Christian Fulton, the corner out of LSU, goes to the Broncos at 15.
All right, with the 16th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select.
It seems that every year at some point someone in the Falcons secondary gets hurt. There are injuries riddled everywhere.
Don't do it.
Injuries riddled everywhere. Mike,
don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I think they take Trevon Diggs, the cornerback from Alabama here. Showed real nice promise this year, even though Alabama didn't get as far as they would hope. But I think it really helps their secondary a while. Hopefully it makes Dan Quinn's unit a little bit more effective, and with a healthy defensive unit with Desmond Trufant, you got Vic Beasley, Takarius McKinley, guys like that. I think Diggs is a nice addition to that, so I'm taking Diggs at 16 to the Atlanta Falcons.
It's actually not terrible. I wasn't expecting you to go corner there. I thought Epinesa was going to be like your guy by a lot.
No, I know where I want Epinesa to go.
Okay, Mike, here we go.
Here it is.
With the 17th pick of the 2020 Haystack
you
mock
get
draft.
to say it.
Well, here's the thing. Now I have a decision to make. I don't know what to do. I didn't expect Epinesa to be here. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, Cowboys have a couple of options. They could go D-line, right? There's no D-tackle here, but they could go edge rusher if they decide to not bring back Robert Quinn. They would need another edge rusher out on the opposite side of DeMarcus Lawrence. But at the very same time, Grant Delpit, the safety, is a guy that's been linked to them forever. So you know what? I'm going to do that. They're going to take Grant Delpit, the safety out of LSU. Chances are they're going to be losing a lot of pieces in the secondary. They're going to go into next year with two safeties under contract. That's Xavier Woods and Donovan Wilson. Those are the only guys that got under contract. Everybody else is a free agent. Grant Delpit, I think, could be a star in the NFL at safety. He's physical enough to play a box safety. He's good enough in coverage. I think he's going to be one of those Derwin James type situations where he's kind of slipping a little bit, but he'll prove his worth in the NFL. Grant Delpit to the Cowboys at 17.
Miami Dolphins, you're back on the clock with the 18th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft.
Here you go.
Select.
So you got your offensive franchise quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, I think, at 5 that we said. And this is where you're going to get your defensive one, A.J. Epinesa, the edge rusher from Iowa. He's the second-ranked edge prospect after Chase Young. This kid's going to make an immediate impact in the NFL, and I think that having two franchise cornerstones on both sides of the ball can really set the Miami Dolphins in full rebuild mode to kind of get this franchise going in the right direction. I think Zach Taylor is going to do a nice job developing these young players and hopefully get them where they want to go in the future. So A.J. Epinesa at 18 to the Dolphins.
With the 19th pick, the Oakland Raiders are back on the clock. The Raiders select.
First of all, A.J. Epinesa to the Dolphins. If that actually happens, they're going to be jumping and screaming with how happy.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. All right, Oakland, look, they took Henry Ruggs at 12, which I thought was a dynamite pick. Give Derek Carr another weapon. How about this? They go to the defensive side of the football. It's going to be a tad bit of a reach, even though I've heard this guy can go top 20. They're going to take Kenneth Murray, the linebacker out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. Dylan Moses, I think, was the best linebacker in the draft. He decided to go back to Alabama. Kenneth Murray now kind of takes that spot after Isaiah Simmons. But Kenneth Murray at this point, he's fast, he can cover. Listen, he's not – the only problem with Kenneth Murray is that there are times where he isn't the best decision maker. But good defensive coaches over there in Oakland, they just need to accumulate talent on that side of the football. Kenneth Murray goes in at 19 to the Oakland Raiders.
The 20th pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars back on the clock. They select.
So they lost one of their best players on defense this season to the Los Angeles Rams. So I think they're going to look to bolster that corner spot here and take C.J. Henderson from Florida at 20. They need someone to go opposite A.J. Boye. Their defense is not as dominant as it was a couple years ago. They need to get back on track and get back to where they want to go. And I think that starts with the cornerback position. Their front seven is still pretty serviceable with guys like Telvin Smith, Calais Campbell. So C.J. Henderson at 20, I think, would be a great addition to bolster this Jaguars secondary at 20.
So to recap, Browns take Andrew Thomas at 10. The Jets take Tristan Wirfs at Henry Ruggs at number 11. The Raiders take Javon Kinlaw at number 12. The Indianapolis Colts take Tristan Wirfs at 13. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You're off by one, Evan.
You're trailing. You're trailing.
You're off by one.
Right, see, you guys should recap things.
All right, so Matt, recap it again.
All right, so
Matt,
the Browns.
okay.
2 for 2.
You're doing a great job DJing, Evan. It's all right.
The Browns take Jedrick Wills at 10. The Jets take Andrew Thomas at 11. The Raiders take Henry Ruggs at 12. The Colts take Javon Kinlaw at 13. The Bucks take Tristan Wirfs at 14. The Broncos take Christian Fulton at 15. Falcons take Trevon Jakes at 16. The Cowboys select Grant Delpit at 17. Dolphins get A.J. Epinesa at 18. The Raiders, once again, on the clock, take Kenneth Murray at 19. And the Jaguars take C.J. Henderson at 20.
Okay, now I get back to the thing I'm good at. 21. At 21, the Philadelphia Eagles select in the Haystack mock draft.
All the corners are gone. Like, the thing really got screwed out of corners. They're all gone. This is tough because it's not like there's anybody here. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do.
Trade.
No. I'm going to give him a wide receiver that can do a lot of different things. He can play out of the backfield. He can play in the slot. He can play on the perimeter if he has to. I'm going to take Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver out of Colorado.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think he can do a lot of different things. He's fast. He's really versatile on offense. He's got good size, 6'2", 220. Again, you can use him out of the backfield if you have to.
Wow.
Shenault goes to the Philadelphia Eagles at 21.
Okay, at number 23 in the 2020 Haystack mock draft. The
22.
New England Patriots select.
God, Evan, you are.
I said 22, right?
No, you said 23.
23.
22. The Buffalo Bills.
All right,
You're back on the clock.
It's good you took Shenault because that frees up my wide receiver pick here. So I think the Buffalo Bills take T. Higgins, wide receiver from Clemson here. They really lack a true wide receiver one. I mean, John Brown can do the job pretty well. Cole Beasley's a nice slot guy. They got their running back situation figured out with Singletary. He looks like he could be a nice player, but I think taking T. Higgins could give Josh Allen another weapon to really take this offense to the next step. So I think Buffalo takes T. Higgins at 22.
Here we go. Now the Patriots are on the clock at 23 in the Haystack mock draft.
All right, here we go.
Ooh, you got it.
Here we go. It's time. The New England Patriots at 23 are going to select Jake Fromm, the quarterback out of Georgia. Listen, I think it's time. You got to take a quarterback at this point because, to be honest with you, Tom Brady's at the steady decline. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, Jordan Love, they'll be able to develop him. Jordan Love is so raw, he's going to need a ton of time to develop. Jake Fromm, I think, could step in from day one and be a nice quarterback for you. Him and Bill Belichick, they're both incredibly smart guys. Football IQ is off the charts for Jake Fromm. Belichick will love coaching this kid. Jake Fromm, quarterback out of Georgia, goes 23 to the Patriots.
With the 24th overall pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select.
This is interesting.
I honestly can't believe that he fell this far down, but I think the Saints are really going to try to bolster this edge rushing and select K'Lavon Chaisson from LSU.
Oh, wow.
Put him opposite Cam Jordan and create just a nightmare of a defensive line with him, Cam Jordan, and Marcus Davenport going along with Kiko Alonso in the middle. I think this is going to be a really scary Saints defense going forward. Again, another immediate starter that could really just make this a scary defense for NFC opponents.
With the 25th pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Minnesota Vikings select.
God, they need a corner and they need offensive line. Again, they're all gone. That's the problem. In seriousness, they're all gone. All right, they're going to take a flyer here. I'm going to go Jeff Gladney, the cornerback out of TCU. I've seen a lot of first round from him. 6', 183. Listen, they've got to get more. They've got to get deeper at corner. I love this defense, but Xavier Rhodes coming off a bad year. They suffered a lot of injuries along that corner staff. But listen, if they're healthy, you get Rhodes, you get Gladney, you get Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Waynes, Mike Hughes. You're actually getting loaded at that position. You just need somebody that'll stay on the field, somebody that's really reactive, somebody that's athletic. Jeff Gladney is that player. Cornerback out of TCU for the Vikings at 25.
At 26 in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Miami Dolphins with their third selection in the first round.
Miami Dolphins at their third selection will take another immediate impact day one starter that's going to absolutely tear up this league. I say they take Jonathan Taylor, the running back out of Wisconsin.
Nice.
Rounding out the third round.
I love that guy.
Rounding out the third round in just one round of the NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins will have their franchise quarterback, running back, and edge rusher for the foreseeable future, and they're all studs.
Matt, I love your foundation.
If that happens for the Dolphins, they're going to be screaming.
They're going to be just fainting and needing inhalers all around.
You talk about franchise building blocks right there, Matt. That's gold.
Absolutely.
With the 27th overall pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Seattle Seahawks select.
Really easy for me. Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville. This one's pretty easy. They need offensive line. They need a tackle. Jermaine Fetty is so bad at right tackle. They've got to find a way to protect Russell Wilson, who they just paid $35 million a year. Mekhi Becton's your guy at 27.
With the 28th pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select it. Matty, I swear if you take a running back here, I will throw a baseball at your head.
I think this is a really good selection here. They're at a great spot, and I think they're destined to be together right here. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson.
Nice pick.
The wide receiver from LSU had a fantastic 1,000-yard season in the historic season at LSU. Giving Lamar Jackson this young core of Justin Jefferson and Marquise Brown,
nice
pairing up with Mark Andrews for the next couple of years could really just put this offense over the top. We already saw the heights that this offense can reach. This would just really push them over the edge. So Justin Jefferson at 28 to the Ravens.
I love that.
Evan Mazza approves that pick.
Evan Mazza seal of approval.
Give him a wide receiver that's got some serious catch radius.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a great pick.
Just go up and get it.
Absolutely.
With the 29th overall pick, the team that upset the Baltimore Ravens and the Patriots, Tennessee Titans select.
This one's actually pretty easy. Fell right into their lap. I'm going to take Yetur Gross-Matos,
Good pick.
the edge rusher out of Penn State. Listen, they've got to get better off the edge. Harold Landry is a beast. There's no problem with that. But on the other edge, they've got to get somebody that's versatile. He can play in a 3-4. He can play in a 4-3. And he's so big and so physical. Mike Vrabel loves those type of guys.
Think about that. Yetur Gross-Matos, Harold Landry, and Jarrell Casey in the front.
There you go. I absolutely love it. Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State, the edge rusher, goes to Tennessee at 29.
Obviously, all these draft picks are going right now, all pending on what happens in the title game and the Super Bowl. So as of now, with the 30th pick in the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select.
So there's a lot of different directions you could go here. I think that they have a really nice young defense and a really nice young offense, and I think they could do a lot at the wide receiver position, but all of the good ones are kind of gone already. So I'm going to say they take Xavier McKinney, the safety from Alabama, pairing him. You got Jaire Alexander, you got Kevin King, and all these other guys, young defensive core. Put him in the back. I think that could really kind of sort of round out this defense to really give it a true identity for the next couple of years going forward. I think Xavier McKinney, safety at 30 to the Packers.
Xavier McKinney can also play corner, so if they want to roll with Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos at safety, they could move McKinney to corner and just stock up on secondary pieces. And
absolutely,
that's not terrible. I don't hate that.
With the 31st overall pick of the 2020 Haystack mock draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select.
This is really tough because they need defense in the worst way. They really do. They're really hoping for a corner to slip. But you know what? I'm gonna swing for the fences here. I'm gonna take J.K. Dobbins, the running back out of Ohio State. They got to be able to get on the ground, control the clock a little bit, rely a little bit less on Patrick Mahomes, give him a real bell cow back a guy that is climbing up boards, one of the best running backs in the country, J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, goes to the Chiefs at 31.
With the 32nd and final pick of the 2020 Haystack first-round mock draft, the San Francisco 49ers
Listen, Mike, if you were going to pick him, I was going to pick the other. I say the 49ers take Travis Etienne right here from the running back from Clemson. Again, another thing to give Jimmy Garoppolo another weapon. You know, everyone talks about the defense. Everyone talks about how amazing this front seven is and how Garoppolo is kind of just skating by. They got a nice receiving core. They have Kittle, who's top 2 or 3 tight end in the league. Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel. They got nice pieces here, and they have a great plethora of running backs. You know, the Tevin Coleman's, the Mosterts. They have still McKinnon waiting in the wings, but they don't really have a good ground and pound between the tackles, running backs. So I think taking Travis Etienne here, rounding it out, could really push the 49ers over the edge. So they take Travis Etienne with the final pick in this mock draft.
All right, so here's what we're looking at right now. So Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals at 1, Chase Young to the Redskins at 2, Jeffrey Okudah to the Lions at 3, Isaiah Simmons to the Giants at 4, Tua Tagovailoa to the Dolphins at 5, Justin Herbert to the Chargers at 6, Derek Brown goes to the Panthers at 7, CeeDee Lamb goes to the Cardinals at 8, Jerry Jeudy to the Jaguars at 9, Jedrick Wills goes to the Browns at 10, Andrew Thomas to the Jets at 11, Henry Ruggs to the Raiders at 12, Javon Kinlaw to the Colts at 13, Tristan Wirfs goes to the Buccaneers at 14, Christian Fulton to the Broncos at 15, Trayvon Diggs goes to the Falcons at 16, Grant Delpit goes to the Cowboys at 17, AJ Epinesa goes to the Dolphins at 18, Kenneth Murray goes to the Raiders at 19, and CJ Henderson goes to the Jaguars at 20. And then as for playoff teams, Laviska Shenault goes to the Eagles at 21, T. Higgins goes to the Bills at 22, Jake Fromm goes to the Patriots at 23, Kayvon Chason goes to the Saints at 24, Jeff Gladney goes to the Vikings at 25, Jonathan Taylor to the Dolphins at 26, Mekhi Becton goes to the Seahawks at 27, Justin Jefferson goes to the Ravens at 28, Yetur Gross-Matos goes to the Titans at 29, Xavier McKinney goes to the Packers at 30, J.K. Dobbins goes to the Chiefs at 31, and Travis Etienne goes to the 49ers at 32. So there we go.
Honestly, if this draft goes exactly like this, I would be very, very satisfied. Not even tooting our own horn, but like if they went exactly like this, I think this would be a very, very good draft.
Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you this: the only two things that I would change, 100%, that I would absolutely 100% change, is definitely would have tried to go. You know what? Probably not even, because they're all off the board. That's the problem. I was going to say Packers really got to go offense. Like, they really need wide receivers, but they're all gone.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, they're all gone. And then ETN to the 49ers. You're going to be reaching for a corner. Yeah, all right. I'm into that. I'm into it. I didn't love Jerry Jeudy to the Jaguars either, but
Lamb and Jeudy
I was stuck with that. You know what I mean?
Lamb and Jeudy went back to back, which I don't think will happen either. I don't think that'll end up happening.
Who goes first, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I don't think
Lamb is kind
of. Well, you really threw a wrench into the works when you took Simmons at 4. Like, if Simmons goes at 4, I think it shakes up things.
Sorry, dude. It's going to happen.
It could. I'm
better.
saying.
I'll lose my freaking mind.
We have breaking news. The New York Giants trade down in the first round.
And select Justin Herbert. They take a quarterback.
Off the air, I'm going to murder both of you.
They take running back.
They select Jason Garrett.
Running back, Jonathan
That
Taylor.
might happen, dude. That might happen. He might. Don't be surprised if within the next week Jason Garrett is the offensive coordinator for the Giants.
Which wouldn't be a bad hire.
No.
All right. Coming up next, Evan, I told you this was going to happen. I'm going to do my playoff confidence rankings, how every team based on their confidence should feel this morning going forward into the playoffs. That's coming up next. The Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show with Mike Guido.
Hour 2, here we go on a Friday. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, Matt Catarizzolo, it's good to have you in. Plenty of stuff to go over today. Rayad Zelowitz coming on in about 10 minutes. I do want to get this through, though. We got playoff games tonight. Not tonight, I'm sorry, on Sunday, this weekend. And I think they're going to be two really entertaining games. I told you, I think that there's different levels of entertainment value with these matchups, so I ranked them. You know, I think the Niners-Chiefs is obviously our best-case scenario. I think Titans-Packers is our worst-case scenario. So up to this point, here we go with this. I think that there's different levels of confidence that each team has going into this weekend, and here we go. So the team that is least confident going into this weekend is Green Bay. They got to go into San Francisco after losing 37-8 over in the regular season of them. I mean, the Packers cannot feel confident in this weekend. Yeah. Oh, they have Aaron Rodgers. Oh, stop. Like, the Niners, I think, are clearly a better team. Everybody knows that they're a better team. San Francisco took control of the Vikings, who the Vikings were threatening with the Packers with the division. I mean, I'm telling you, this is not going to be a fun night for Green Bay. It really is not. Green Bay should not feel confident going into this weekend. They're the least confident. They're number 4. Number 3, Kansas City. I'm telling you, Kansas City is... Listen, I'll say this. Kansas City's confident. They are not a team that is going to be on their heels saying, oh, my God, we're going to lose. No. No, they're going to be fine. The thing is that they're going to be going up against a team that is on this crazy run right now. That they're going to feel like, oh, yeah, the run's going to stop with us. But in the back of their mind, they're thinking, what if? What if this kind of tramples over us? That they know that they're going to have trouble stopping the run. So, listen, I think they're going to be confident. They're going to be okay. But if you look at what the Chiefs do, that they're going to have to pass the ball. They're going to have to get over that defense, and they're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. Not sure how much confidence they can put in that. Kansas City's number 3. Number 2, Tennessee. I'm serious. The Tennessee Titans, I think, should feel really confident going into this weekend. Like I said, crazy magical run for them. They've taken out the 2 behemoths of the AFC in the Ravens and the Patriots. I mean, it's just it makes a lot of sense for them to feel incredibly confident in themselves. They're feeling really good. They've got this fresh, crazy vibe going, right? With Mike Vrabel thinking about he's got to chop off his man parts. I mean, thinking about they are feeling it right now. They have a Nationals thing to them. They're underdogs. Nobody believes in them. They've got nothing to lose. Tennessee feels really good about themselves right now. They're number 2. And then number 1, San Francisco. Again, I think San Francisco right now is the clear-cut favorite for the Super Bowl. They're blowing out teams. They go into a game where they're blowing. The last time they played this team that they're playing in the NFC Championship game, they blew them out 37-8. And they're playing them again in their home building. They feel so confident right now. They're blowing teams out. They're rested. They're playing well. I mean, San Francisco, they got the extra day off. San Francisco feels really good right now. Offensively, defensively, they know that the offensive line for the Packers gives them trouble a little bit. But I'll tell you what, pass rushers, those pass rushers, that defensive line is going to wreak havoc. They're going to be able to control the clock. I mean, everything is working in San Francisco's favor. They are number 1. So from least confident to most confident, Packers, Chiefs, Titans, Niners. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the list is pretty good. I would put Tennessee at number 1. My Tennessee. I mean, when you go on the road and beat the Ravens and the Patriots, like you said, they're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They've already succeeded their season. They're coming in confident in their abilities. They believe in themselves. They believe they can win. They're tough. San Francisco, I put them at number 2. They dominated Minnesota. They played great against them. KC would be tough to put them at least at number 2 because I would think about putting the Chiefs number 2 because of the fact you came back down 24-0. That is such a huge momentum builder to your team, a huge belief in your team. Coming back down 24-0, you're playing in the AFC Conference title game now because of that. Yeah, I would actually think about putting Kansas City at number 2 with San Francisco.
I mean, yeah, I definitely see how you could make the argument for Tennessee at number 1. I mean, the underdog mentality, everything that they've overcome this season,
But they are also 9-7.
They were also 9-7 even after starting 2-4, making the switch from Mariota to Tannehill. Derrick Henry just having this sensational postseason and regular season too. You could definitely make the case that they're number 1, but at the end of the day, you just got to look at who's the better team on paper, and I think that San Francisco is pretty far and away the favorite, at least out of the NFC. So I do agree that Packers will be at number 4. I do like Kansas City at 3, even though what Evan just said is super accurate. Coming down, going on a 51-7 run is nothing to look over. But yeah, you can definitely make a case for Tennessee at number 1, but I have no problem saying that the Niners are the clear-cut confidence favorites. So yeah, I agree.
I think all three of us would agree. Yeah, Green Bay would be number 4 in terms of that. Now that doesn't take away that Green Bay isn't coming in with confidence. I do think Green Bay thinks that they can go to San Fran and beat them. They have the kind of team to do it.
Yeah, but they're going into the worst situation.
It's definitely the worst situation.
The Packers, the last time they played, it isn't like when the Titans played the Chiefs and the Titans snuck it out by 3.
No, they got blown out.
The Packers lost by 30. You don't think in the back of their mind, I hope we don't get blown out again.
Well, it's also,
they can't be feeling confident going into this weekend. They just can't. They cannot be.
Second time around the playoffs is always a different story. I do think San Fran's going to win this football game, but I do think it's going to be pretty darn competitive. I think Green Bay has got a whole week to look at through film. They probably understand what they did wrong against San Francisco, so I will still pick San Fran to win, but I definitely think Green Bay is going to be a lot better in this one. It'll definitely be a lot close. So, but there you have it. Tennessee is just at this point with Tennessee. I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee completed this trio and beating the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Patriots, just completing it and going to the Super Bowl. It wouldn't shock me at all if they did it, because again, when you're hot, you're hot. But I just think Kansas City is just too. Kansas City is just. Kansas City. This is the Chiefs' time now, right? This is their time, right?
Right.
You got to figure the Ravens are out, the Patriots are out. They can't. Those two teams can't stop them on the road to the Super Bowl. They beat the Texans. This is the Chiefs. You got to figure if there's any opportunity. The Chiefs have a wide open opportunity to go to the Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes at quarterback, but the window is definitely wide open now to get to the Super Bowl on Sunday against Tennessee. But Tennessee is coming in with all the momentum in the world right now. Nothing to lose.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a great weekend. We'll pick them in a little bit. All right. With that, Ray Anzelowitz coming on in a couple of minutes. Our Inside NBA man. Also, he's got an event coming up. He does. And yours truly will be doing a little bit of play-by-play for that event. So even if you just want to go there just to see me and say hello, you absolutely can. I'm good looking. So, you know what I mean? We'll have Ray on in a couple of minutes. Coming up next, the Haystack of the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Great to have you back. Haystack Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Mike, Evan, Matt here on a Friday. Allow me to bring on now Ray Anzelowitz, president of Gotham Hoops, our Inside NBA man. Before we get into anything, Ray, so you have an event coming up, Holy Cross High School in Queens. I'll be doing play-by-play for the event. Kind of enlighten us on what this event is.
No, of course. I appreciate it. So this is our third annual Gotham Hoops Winter Classic. It is a showcase featuring boys, high school, and postgraduate teams. This year we'll have 16 teams from across the Northeast. About, I think, 9 are coming from state of New York. We'll have another few from Jersey, Connecticut, and then a couple coming down from Maine, and even one from New Brunswick, Canada. So, again, this is our third year doing it. I think this is our most talented field from top to bottom. We'll have 10 total games, 5 on Saturday, January 25th, and then another 5 on Sunday, January 26th. And really, it's an opportunity for players to boost their recruitment and play in front of college coaches. So, like you said, you'll be on the play-by-play. We'll hopefully be live streaming the event. And it's just a great opportunity for these guys to play, not only, again, in front of college recruiters, but also in front of family and friends. And it should just be a great couple of days of basketball.
No, it really is a great event. I've done it for the past 2 years. When you were first looking for play-by-play guys, I was the guy that stepped in. And just recently, I started bringing a guy with me. One of my guys, Xavier Clyburn, who serves as my color guy. I worked with him over at OTGbasketball.com when I was doing scouting for them. But, all right, so let's get into some NBA stuff, okay? So you and I got into a pretty decent conversation last week about Kyle Kuzma, right? How he's kind of factoring in with the Lakers. He drops 4 against Orlando. He shoots 2 for 10. And this was Kuzma's big bugaboo from the second he set foot in the league, is he's going to have those days where he's a big volume scorer. He's going to shoot the lights out of the building. But he's either one of 2 extremes. He usually shoots the lights out of the building, which seems to be the lesser of the two, or he's as inefficient of a player as there is in the league. What's the answer for Kuzma and the Lakers right now? It doesn't make sense to me.
First, I'm going to nitpick. I don't think you can say someone drops 4. I think there needs to be a minimum. I think
he drops 4.
I think it needs to be like at least double digits.
I didn't realize I was banned from using particular terminology based on how many. I don't think you can say somebody drops 4.
Agreed.
You don't hear that. You don't hear that very often. Drop is usually
if I hear that next weekend, I might have to boot you from the play-by-play.
Oh, good. Oh, he's dropped 2.
All right. Well, on that note, yeah, I mean, I think Kuzma was almost too good too early, and he was getting a ton of acclaim, and his ceiling was sky high at the time when he just came into the league out of Utah. And it was interesting because he was in a class or among the class of guys like Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram, and he was the one that really rose to the occasion. And again, I really need to look into it more if the Pelicans wanted Ingram more than the Lakers wanted to keep Kuzma. Just because I'm so fascinated with the idea that those two could be in reversed roles right now. But at the end of the day, I don't think Kuzma will live up to the expectations that he garnered when he first entered the league and came out and came out on fire. So I think he's the odd man out there, potentially a couple other guys. But I think with Kuzma's value, and I mentioned this before, I think the only thing that's going to be tricky in dealing him is his contract. And we'll see. But again, I think he's the odd man out in LA, and he'll find a home in another city where he could potentially be another big piece to a rising franchise.
I mean, it's really interesting to see, right? Because the Lakers were just like, all right, if we're going to trade for AD, we got to be able to keep Kuzma. Like we have to keep Kuzma. He's going to be the third piece, everything like that. He's literally been everything but that. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's like, I'll be honest with you. You look at the Lakers roster, Kuzma's what? Their 8th or 9th guy? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually pretty crazy. We thought this Lakers team wasn't going to be deep at all. They're actually incredibly deep, and Kuzma doesn't have a spot. I mean, it really is unbelievable.
I think they have the best bench in the NBA.
Well, the thing is
and you can even exclude,
you're right,
and you can exclude Kuzma. I felt that way while he was on the bench, or rather when he was hurt and he wasn't able to play. And that he hasn't changed my mind about him as far as his performance or lack thereof.
I mean, look, the Lakers are still really good. They're 33-8 right now, so they're still really good. Here's my thing though, is that Kuzma doesn't serve them a serious purpose. He's awful defensively. He can't play defense whatsoever. And offensively, if he's going to shoot 2 for 10, why have him on the floor?
He is beyond consistent on the offensive end of the floor, which is something that you can't have, especially when you're chasing a championship.
It's really, really crazy. All right. Shifting now. Brooklyn, they're 18-22 sitting right now. Kyrie Irving just came back from injury. He then goes off and he says, yeah, I think it's a pretty glaring hole. We definitely need another piece that could help me and Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie and KD, who, by the way, hasn't played a game this year. Jared Allen. You need another piece? What, isn't that what you were supposed to be? Like, to me, this is just not a great look on Kyrie Irving.
He just doesn't make it easy to be a likable NBA star.
I know.
He doesn't make it easy on himself.
And he's my favorite player to watch. I love watching the guy, but God, Ray, he's a pain in the ass.
He's fascinating to watch, but just as a person, you're just not sure what's going on in his head.
How do you feel about it, Ray?
I'm not a fan of his off court. It's hard to call them antics, but just the way that he presents himself and the way that it sheds light on the team. I mean, he did a little bit of the same up in Boston a year ago, so it can't come as a full surprise. But I'm with you. I mean, he and KD were supposed to be those pieces, so I don't know if it's as much. I mean, people are saying it's a slight to all the players that he didn't name. I think Joe Harris is one of them, and Harris has been terrific for the Nets for the past couple of years. But I mean, the fact that Kyrie can sit there and confidently say that between himself and Kevin Durant that he thinks they need another one or two pieces. I mean, that may even say more about them and what they can do on the court than anything else. But it was unnecessary. It was uncalled for. And not to get into a whole other topic, but I heard, I believe, Jessica Mendoza the other day mention that she was disappointed with how the whistleblower for the Astros whole thing. She was disappointed that he went public with it, but understood that if the player just told his teammates about what was going on, that would be completely different. So, and I say that in comparison where Kyrie should have went to GM Sean Marks and even ownership and expressed his frustrations or ideas to improve the team. Instead of he went to the media, and that was unnecessary. And it's only gonna be a deterrent for the team moving forward.
Well, here's my problem, right? He just got back. Like, he's played 14 games this year, 14, and yeah, he's averaging 27 points a game. Kyrie Irving's great. There's no problem with that. But think about this: you mentioned the depth of this roster, right? Kyrie. Let's exclude KD for a second. Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Spencer Dinwiddie, Garrett Temple, Wilson Chandler, Jared Allen, Rodion Kurucs, Taurean Prince, Zanon Musa, DeAndre Jordan. Like, this is not a bad roster. Okay, this roster is loaded with talent. Okay, they go 10 deep already without KD. Is it fair for me to say that Kyrie can't lead a team to success? Like, Kyrie by himself isn't enough.
I think it's very fair, and I think that's the reason why he was successful in Cleveland, because he had arguably the best player of all time on the court right next to him in LeBron James. And then he went to a stacked Boston team where they only really succeeded at a high level when he wasn't playing, because they were, a game away from making the finals with a young Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and Gordon Hayward was obviously out for the year that season as well. And then when that entire team is back, and including Kyrie, they were completely a disappointment and underachieved. And now in Brooklyn, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie has been a bright light for them while in Kyrie's absence. And then, like you said, the first game Kyrie's back, and they lose to, I understand, I believe it was an undermanned Philly team without Joel Embiid. But Jalen Rose mentioned this. That's nothing to go home and be upset about. I mean, Philly's a better team even without Joel Embiid on the court. So, but at the end of the day, it's just come full circle. I don't think Kyrie can be the one and only superstar on a team and lead them to playoff success. I'll say that.
I'm with you. I am 100% with you on that. I think it's fair to say that. All right, so shifting from Brooklyn, let's go to the Clippers, okay? Because Clippers are 7-3 in their last 10. They're playing good basketball right now. After the Lakers lost to the Magic at Staples, the Clippers beat them in Staples by 30, right? So, are we feeling a little bit different about the Clippers today? Are they catching up in some ground here?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you and I could feel very differently about this, but when I was so high on them to entering the season, and then when the Lakers got off to such a hot start, and I mean they're still playing out of their minds, and the Clippers took a step back, I didn't think it was a significant step back. I just thought it went from, it could easily just be 1A, 1B right now, but I think the Lakers are just a smidge above the Clippers. So, I think the Clippers I didn't expect them to fall off, is what I'm trying to say. So I think they're playing at the level where I pretty much saw them playing once the Lakers really established themselves as the leader in LA.
So here's something I want to bring up to you, because this is really interesting to me. I think you should have bought into the Grizzlies this year rather than last year.
I was a year or two late.
I think you were a year early on this. But the Grizzlies are 8-2 in their last 10. They've won their last 6 games, and Ja Morant is already, kind of bringing the house down with this league a little bit. Okay, had 26, 5, and 8 against Houston in Memphis. The kid's legit, Ray.
Yep, no, absolutely.
Now, you tell me right now, because this is going to be something where, I heard a GM, an anonymous GM in the league, right? Anonymous GM comes out and says, oh, well, if it were me with the number 1 pick, I would have taken Ja Morant over Zion Williamson. Stop it. Hindsight's, I get it. Hindsight's 20/20, but let's be real, okay? If you didn't take Zion with the number 1 pick in this year's draft, the day after the draft, you would have been fired. Like, give me a break. Do you think that there's any truth to Zion, Ja Morant, Josh should have been the number 1 pick? People were thinking about him being the number 1 pick. Just break that whole situation down for me.
I'll compare this to DeAndre Ayton and Luka Doncic.
Really?
Why not?
You think that this is that?
No, I don't. I'm not saying that that's how I believe or what I believe, rather, but I'm saying at the end of the day, that could be the scenario where DeAndre Ayton is going to have a fine career, an above-average career. He'll probably be a multi-time All-Star when it's all said and done. But he's never going to lead a team to a championship. And I thought the David Robinson comparisons. I don't know I've heard that. I don't know if you felt the same way. I thought that was a little bit far-fetched. I think he just had too much going for him with playing high school in Arizona, going to U of A, then being selected by the hometown team with the number 1 pick. And it's the one thing you can't teach is size, and that's what he had. But there's no doubt about it that not only the Kings but the Phoenix Suns missed the boat on Luka Doncic. And again, it's hard to say. We got to sit here and predict what Zion will be when he comes to the league and when he's fully healthy. I think he's going to make his first appearance on the 22nd against the Spurs. But it's just the fact with how easily Ja has transitioned and got himself acclimated to the style of play in the NBA, and it seems to be perfectly suited for him. And I do think Zion will have a bigger learning curve because of his inability to stretch the floor and be a consistent, or rather a 3-point threat, where teams are gonna sit back and make him shoot. And he's going to have bigger bodies to go up against in the paint in the NBA than he did in college. And of course, he's a freak of nature, so that may not stop him too many times. But at the end of the day, Ja has risen above everyone's expectations, and he's playing well, and I think he deserves all the credit in the world right now.
That actually leads perfectly into my next question. Do you think Zion, because you mentioned he's making his debut, you think Zion struggles early out of the gate?
Oh,
like what do you think about what the impact he's going to make?
This is going to be the first time that he's played 5-on-5 or legitimate 5-on-5 in months, and then some. Because he played like 1 or 2 games in summer league, and
which he dominated in summer league.
Correct, but those are at the end of the day. And again, I don't mean to take anything away from him, but you're playing against a handful of NBA players. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those guys are still fighting for roster spots, and a lot of those guys, if you look back,
they're G League guys,
and some of them are even going abroad, which there's obviously nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, we need to take it into consideration that the level of competition he's playing against, where Ja Morant is going up against the best in the world and showing that he belongs. So I do think that whether it's just conditioning or just getting accustomed to the speed and the system of both the Pelicans and the NBA, that will take some time, because you can't dominate just going 100 miles per hour every play. It's just not going to work. So I'm not saying he's going to have a poor remainder of the season as far as his performance goes, but there'll be a learning curve for sure.
So your gut feeling right now, Ray, do you think the Pelicans will end up regretting not taking Ja?
No, I don't think so. And truthfully, a lot of it goes into the fact that they had Drew Holiday and Lonzo Ball on their roster. So point guard, or rather primary ball handler, wasn't much of a need. And I agree. I mean, there's a difference between, like, Luka was a little bit more of an unknown commodity than Zion Williamson was, and that's for more reasons than one. But no, I don't think David Griffin and co are going to regret passing on John Morant like the Suns and the Kings may regret passing, or even the Hawks too, I guess, passing on a guy like Luka.
Crazy to think that, right? That we're thinking about that, because you go back to Doncic and Ayton. Like, I thought, like, DeAndre Ayton, I think, had an incredibly high ceiling, but he had a higher floor, right? DeAndre Ayton didn't have a lot of room to fail. He already had an NBA body at Arizona, right? I mean, he was already a massive guy, already a really polished skills. I said, all right, worst case scenario, he's a Emeka Okafor in his prime. You know what I mean? But best case scenario,
Emeka Okafor's prime was when he was still at UConn.
Well, yeah. Well, what I mean is,
I
understand. Big body, a lot of skill, that kind of guy, right? The DeAndre Ayton's ceiling, I didn't think it was too far fetched. David Robinson, maybe with a better jump shot. You know, that was what I saw. But you look at Zion, and I'm like, okay, yeah, the injuries scare you, but God, he is just so dominant in literally the guy flies all over the floor. Mm-hmm. I mean, it isn't just offensively, it's defense. He's flying cross court to block shots. I'm like, it's insane. It ain't like the effort's not there.
No, absolutely not. And another aspect of his game that I think people don't talk enough about is his vision, his IQ, and his ability to find the open man. I mean, some of these passes that he was making over his 1 year at Duke were just phenomenal, and I think that kind of got lost in the shuffle just because of how freak of an athlete he is and how big and strong he is as well. And he's going to be able to positively affect that Pelicans team in a myriad of ways, and you brought up a few. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm just glad, and rather I've been impressed more than anything with how seamless a transition it's been from going from Murray State and I believe the Ohio Valley Conference to the NBA, and he hasn't missed a beat.
Can I tell you what college basketball team is like actually making me pretty excited? I'm not gonna lie.
Which one?
Kentucky
is making you excited for college basketball?
Yeah, I think they are. I like them, Ray.
After they just lost to South Carolina.
I'm not kidding.
That's pretty interesting.
I know that. Listen, I know they lost, but there is something about Kentucky that I like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, because at the end of the day, you're looking at, backcourt. Like, who has a better backcourt in college basketball right now than them? Ashton Hagans and Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah,
does anybody in
paper,
Kansas?
No, I mean beyond Devon Dodson, I don't see anyone else really matching up with them.
That's my thing.
On paper, though.
So is there anybody serious right now? Because listen, I like Kentucky. I think they're going to be really good. But they're ranked 10th right now in the AP Top 25. So there are apparently 9 teams that people think are better than they are.
Well, it's also, you have to take into consideration records right now. So, I mean, I don't know if they still are, but San Diego State was one of the last undefeated teams.
They're 18-0, yeah.
Baylor has been playing well. I think they only have 1 loss. Gonzaga is certainly at the top of the ranking. So there's a few teams that have been playing exceptionally well. And again, similar to college football and not so much in the same aspect just because there's plenty more games, but it also depends when you lose. That affects this ranking. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to the 9 teams that the AP poll has ranked ahead of Kentucky, just because of when teams win and lose. So again, like, you can make the argument that Kentucky is better than San Diego State, but until San Diego State loses, they're still gonna be in that top 10.
You think when San Diego State loses, they're going to take a dip?
Oh, Of course.
Like a big dip, I mean.
It also depends who they lose to, but at the same token, the talent that San Diego State is going to have to play for the remainder of their schedule is not on par with the talent that, like losing to South Carolina, even though this isn't a great year, although our guy and Winter Classic alum A.J. Lawson has been playing well for the Gamecocks. But what I'm trying to say is a loss to South Carolina is weighted differently than a loss to whoever San Diego State still has on their schedule.
No, I think I'm with you on that. By the way, A.J. Lawson against Kentucky really struggled.
Yeah.
5 points. He shot 1 of 9. Really rough day.
Wait, but
that's his. But here's that's his. Like that could be AJ's kind of biggest thing, right? He does get a little inefficient from the floor.
Correct.
He does, but supreme athlete though.
Yeah.
Kid can really play. All right, so to wrap this up, right? Duke's climbing back up. They're 15-2.
Yep.
Am I Duke doesn't impress me. Am I missing the boat on them?
No, I'm not buying what Duke is selling this year, and it's funny because even ESPN just came out with an article that says despite Duke just losing to Clemson, they're still underrated. I mean, I think that's just
underrated.
That's just riding on Coach K's coattails. So I don't see Duke as a serious contender for a few reasons, but I'm with you. I'm not buying what Duke is selling.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, thanks, Ray. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
This is always fun. I really do like this because again, even on the stuff that not a lot of people are thinking about, and because everybody's so focused in on football right now, you know. We try to draw the attention back onto basketball. We do a nice job. You do a nice job with that.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right, let's go to the news. Big J journalist Matt Catarizzola here on a Friday.
All right, so more fallout from Major League Baseball cheating scandal. So,
oh my God,
the New York Mets and Carlos Beltran have. We talked about Red Sox and Cora mutually parting ways. Carlos Beltran actually decided to step down as manager. Reporting here from Bleacher Report Baseball. This is from David Lennon. He's a baseball columnist for Newsday. Said that Carlos Beltran actually wanted to stay with the Mets, saying, quote, he could have handled the heat, but the team didn't want any distractions down the line.
Well, yeah, I mean, the optics would have been bad. Like, this actually got brought up yesterday. If by some miracle the Mets ended up winning the World Series or going to the playoffs next year or something like that, every single part about that season would be in question because Carlos Beltran would be their manager. Even if they didn't do anything, it would be, well, what if they cheated? Mets don't want that. They don't want that. So they're going to bring in somebody else, and they're going to say, all right, clean slate, we're just going to roll and not have the noise. I thought it was a good decision. I really do. I think it was a good decision. Unfortunate because I like Carlos Beltran a lot, but it was a really good choice by the Mets. Really good.
Shifting over to football now. So agent Drew Rosenhaus conditionally terminated his relationship with Antonio Brown today.
Thank God.
Yesterday until the free agent wide receiver seeks counsel. This is per an NFL Player Association source. Rosenhaus wrote in a letter that the NFL Players Association received that he would like to work with Brown in the future, but not until he gets help.
There you go. This is the start. I'm telling you right now, you're an alcoholic. Listen, if you struggle with alcohol, some people that struggle with alcohol don't even acknowledge the problem until they start losing everything.
Now,
okay, Antonio Brown's people got to remember, Drew Rosenhaus has stuck with Antonio Brown throughout virtually this entire thing. Still trying to get him work, still trying to convince people that he's a good guy, still trying to do all this stuff. Drew Rosenhaus has stuck with him like crazy. Now Drew Rosenhaus wants nothing to do with him. Nothing.
This is also according to
Bleacher Report. It's going to be a 30 for 30 on AB.
This is according to Bleacher Report's Mike Freeman. It is now increasingly apparent that Antonio Brown's chances of returning to the NFL get lower by the day, and this league could try to ban Antonio Brown for an entire season.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Again, AB needs to come to a realization that he has completely lost it. He's lost it. Okay, this is no longer a he's an idiot thing. This is a he needs help thing. Antonio Brown has, I mean, I can't remember another time when another NFL player lost their mind quite like this. I'm serious.
At the height of their career, too.
Right, exactly. And no, I don't mean like Aaron Hernandez where he goes off murdering people. What I mean is like he's actually gone what looks like to be a little bit insane. Okay, he's calling the cops on his ex-wife or on his ex-girlfriend or something like that he has children with because she's picking them up for school. Is that what it is?
Something like that. I mean,
it was
the whole Instagram
are you
live
serious?
thing was a whole episode.
I'm out of I don't know. I don't know. But listen, I'm happy that Drew Rosenhaus made that decision. He's not represented by anybody. He won't be represented by anybody. It's a wake-up call. It really is. At that point, it's a wake-up call. And this is not going to be the end of it. He needs to lose more. He does. He's got to start going bankrupt. He's got to lose his house. I'm telling you, that is what it is going to take for him to realize he's got a problem.
Everyone's saying that Antonio Brown needs to wake up. I don't think it's that simple. How is that he needs to think about, okay, you know what, I need to get my act together. Like, no, it's exactly what Rosenhaus said. Like, this man needs help. Actual serious counseling, therapy.
Yeah, no, he needs real help.
Possibly rehab of some sort. But this guy needs help. Serious help.
Yeah. No, this is not good for him at all.
All right, so I saw this little interesting thing again on Bleacher Report. It's very telling to George Kittle's character. So San Francisco 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan said that he's never heard his star tight end ask for touches. Shanahan says that Kittle does approach him about every 7 or 8 plays to discuss running plays and who to hit. So going forward in this playoffs, is he the best tight end, or would you still take Travis Kelce?
That is really tough.
I know, and it's someone like just for production. I mean,
Kittle can block too.
Kittle can drive people into the ground with ease. But I
might take Kittle.
Yeah,
like by the skin of his teeth. Yeah, maybe. That's so tough. That is splitting hairs. But Travis Kelce, like, I don't think it's a question that Travis Kelce's a better receiver. Like, Travis Kelce's a better pass catcher.
Right.
But the collective package, I mean, George Kittle is so good at his job. It really is amazing.
And he's just what you want in a teammate,
oh my God,
and a football player.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Could not ask for a better person to be your rallying cry.
Oh, yeah.
Especially now in a deep playoff run.
Absolutely. Now, again, that's a really tough one. Who would you take, Ray? Kittle or Kelce?
I'm going Kittle for a lot of the same reasons that you guys just mentioned. So, I mean, they're obviously both phenomenal pass catchers, but when it comes down to it, I think Kittle separates himself from his ability to block. And I think for San Francisco to have so much success running the ball, not saying it all relies on Kittle's ability to block the man in front of him, but that's a piece of it.
And people overlook that, too.
I agree.
A lot of people overlook the blocking aspect of being a tight end. It's arguably the most important responsibility of being a tight end, which is run blocking, pass blocking, too. But if you're a good route runner and you're able to catch passes and you're that physically dominant, you know, it's just if you have the entire package. That's why tight ends are such a rare breed now. And why we can say, like, after Gronk left, it's pretty much just a 1-2-3 of Kittle, Ertz, and Kelce. That in no particular order, and then you have other like serviceable guys that can get the job done. But
Cooper, Hunter Henry.
There's not a lot of elite. Like Ebron. There's not a lot of elite tight ends anymore after Gronk retired. So it's good to see now that we have two of the best still in the postseason.
And we'll see. People forget about this too, but watch for T.J. Hawkinson.
Yep.
T.J. Hawkinson can develop and he can play. All right, that's the news. Big J journalist Matt Catarizzolo here on a Friday. Good stuff. Who do you like this weekend, Ray?
I'm going to. It's so tough to bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. So I'll come back to that in 1 second. But I'm gonna go with Rodgers and the Packers take down 49ers.
Wow.
I think Rodgers is going to take advantage of this opportunity because he knows that this is probably one of the last times he's gonna be in this position. And San Francisco has been playing well on both ends of the field all year. But so going with Rodgers, I'll say this, and it's pretty self-explanatory. But I think the Chiefs will have a harder time coming back in a game against the Titans than they did against the Texans, just because of the Titans' ability to hold on to the ball and run it with Derrick Henry. So, putting a gun to my head, I guess I'll go Packers-Chiefs, and we'll just see what happens on Sunday. But it should be a couple of great games, I feel.
Packers-Chiefs. All right.
Kevin from Chicago. How you doing, Kevin?
Pretty good. I just want a couple points to get you guys' thoughts on.
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was watching after the game, the Ryan Tannehill versus Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny how the different people, different takes they had. Every time someone brought up Tannehill, it was, on Twitter they were talking about Tannehill. Oh, you just lost to Ryan Tannehill. That meme. And the responses were, they didn't lose to Tannehill. They lost to Derrick Henry. Tannehill did do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Tannehill sucks. All Derrick Henry. But Tannehill outscored the Ravens by himself. He punched him in the mouth right off the gate. He threw that bomb, and he had a rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He outscored him by himself. And this idea that he's a bum, and the only reason they're doing good is because of Derrick Henry. Like, if you watch the regular season, he was balling out in the regular season, playing really good. His stats back it up. And another reason is kind of the media. Imagine if Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins played the way Lamar Jackson did. The turnovers, the not be able to put points on the board, they would light him up. But for whatever reason, Lamar Jackson, the golden boy, y'all want to defend him, critiquing Lamar Jackson, that's absurd. He did this and that, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I think you're way off. I think you're way, way off. I think Lamar Jackson has gotten a ripping of criticism since the playoff game. He absolutely has. There are people that saying that he can't play quarterback. You know what I mean? After this year, people are literally telling him that he can't play the position because when it comes down to those big moments where he's got to make the throw, he can't do it. So he's gotten, I wouldn't call him the golden boy at all. I think he's gotten a lot of criticism. And secondly, as far as Ryan Tannehill is concerned, it isn't a matter of that Tannehill sucks. I actually think that Tannehill should get an extension. The thing is that that is definitely a run-based offense, and they're not asking Tannehill to do much.
He only has 160 yards combined.
Right, he's 100
playoffs so far.
Exactly, he's thrown for 160 yards combined in the playoffs. So it isn't like he's torching people. So I understand why people are saying, yeah, Tannehill sucks. It's only because of Derrick Henry. Yeah, Derrick Henry really does help. I don't think Tannehill sucks, but Derrick Henry is the reason where they are right now. Derrick Henry's controlling the entire playoffs. He really is. He's controlling the entire postseason. So,
there's no doubt. No doubt Derrick Henry's a big part, but I'm thinking when it comes to Lamar Jackson, my point about Lamar Jackson, the mainstream media, they're the ones that are defending him. You heard Rex Ryan, what did he say? Anybody criticizing Lamar Jackson is an idiot. And
what would you say? What would you say about Lamar Jackson?
I would say he got exposed 2 years in a row when it mattered most.
Ooh, that's tough.
Well, it's hard to get exposed 3 years in a row when he's only played 2 years. But I'll also say this. If Lamar Jackson got exposed, how did he get exposed?
He can't come back from a deficit. When he has to throw the ball, put points on the board, it doesn't rely on its feet. He can't do it. He chokes. He comes back.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna write him off after his second year.
No, I'm not gonna write him off, but he's got to get better throwing the ball. What
if I told you that Lamar Jackson did get better at throwing the ball? Did you realize that in his first year he had a completion percentage of 58%, and this year he had that jumped up all the way to 66? He had an 8% increase in completion percentage this year. He led the league in passing touchdowns. He led the league in touchdown percentage. He threw for over 3,000 yards at a 66% clip. He led the league in total QBR.
But that's good, but what happens when it matters most in the playoffs? First round exit. Now, all the stats in the world in the regular season, but when it comes down to when it matters, he didn't perform.
Well,
so,
when it comes down to when it matters, he has 2 years under his belt. Okay, the first year he is 19-3 in the regular season in his career. He's 19-5, including the postseason. Okay, is it fair for me to say give the guy a break, give the guy a couple of years?
Also, probably going to win an MVP
He's
in
also
his second season.
He's also 22 years old.
Okay, what about Jimmy Garoppolo? How many years has he been starting? Has he been a starting quarterback?
21-5 as a starter.
Right, they're very similar to Lamar Jackson.
Okay, if Jimmy Garoppolo went out there and shit the bed the way Lamar Jackson did, do you think people would be defending him? No, they'd be saying, "Oh, this dude sucks. He's a bust."
There are a lot of people criticizing Jimmy Garoppolo.
They say he's the
Jimmy
worst
Garoppolo
player.
play. Well, hang on. Jimmy Garoppolo plays in a run-based offense also. Did you realize that San Francisco is the second best running team in the league? They average 140 yards rushing a game. They have 4 different running backs that would all start for different teams. This is not a Jimmy Garoppolo-led offense either. Okay, did you realize that in the game that in the divisional round game against the Vikings, Kirk Cousins actually outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo? But Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners, they were able to control the clock with the running game, and that's the reason that they won that game, right?
Yes, but it's not all about numbers. It's about winning. It's about what's the best for the team.
Okay, but what helps lead to winning? What would you say? What would you say helped?
Whoever wants to pitch in, whatever game plan the coach comes up with. That's what leads
exactly.
To win.
Okay, so would it not be fair for me to say that in Lamar Jackson's case, he's playing with a hurt Mark Ingram, a hurt Mark Andrews, and he's in his second year in the NFL? Is it fair for me to say that?
The passes, the bad passes, the inaccurate passes. He's not an accurate passer. He can't throw the ball down the field when he needs to.
But how can you say that if he's completing 66% of his throws?
In the Titans game, the receivers were dropping passes left and right. I think he had 6 or 7 drops.
There were
in that
7.
game.
Mark Andrews, that Mark Andrews pass was high.
The Mark Andrews pass wasn't very high. It wasn't very high.
It was high. You didn't put him on the numbers. You didn't put it on the numbers. You put it on the numbers.
I mean, if you're listen, hang on. If you're expecting Lamar Jackson to be Patrick Mahomes, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, no quarterback is going to be perfect. Is Lamar Jackson going to be a precise thrower of the football all the time? No, he's not. But does that mean he's exposed as a quarterback? No. If he completes 63% of his throws for the rest of his career, is he not an accurate quarterback?
He's not accurate down the field.
He's not accurate down the field. Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, bud. All right. So there we go. Let's take care of that. That's ridiculous.
I didn't agree with the single thing that guy said.
That was ridiculous. Seriously. I don't understand the Lamar Jackson exposed people. It doesn't make sense to me. All right. Coming up next, we'll pick the games. We'll do deathmatch. All that coming up. Hour number 3. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show with Mike Guido.
Here we go. Hour number 3. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, my producer, Matt Catarizzolo, Big J journalist. Great to have you in. All right. So we have games this weekend, Sunday night games. Titans, Chiefs, Packers, 49ers, the AFC and NFC championship games. Like I said, a bunch of different scenarios. I think worst case scenario, we get Titans, Packers. Best case scenarios, we get Niners, Chiefs. All right, Evan, here we go. What do we have?
Well, first one up, Chiefs, Titans. For the AFC Championship game, I think Kansas City is, what, a 7-point favorite?
7.5.
7.5 favorites in this game. So, for the AFC title, Chiefs-Titans, who's going to the Super Bowl to represent the AFC?
I am going to say the Kansas City Chiefs. I am not overly confident in it because the Titans are doing what they're doing, but I think the Chiefs, they're just going to score too many points. I think this won't be a time of possession matter. The Chiefs are just going to air the ball out. They're going to take control of the game. Patrick Mahomes is just going to show you how great he is. Coaching advantage goes to the Chiefs. Again, they might struggle stopping Derrick Henry, but I have a feeling that Patrick Mahomes is not going to stay off the field. He's going to stay. He's going to be really heavy in this game. It's in Kansas City. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Higher scoring game. I'll take the Chiefs 34. I'll say 34-24 Chiefs as the Chiefs represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
If there's a team in this entire postseason that's riding a bigger high than Tennessee, it's Kansas City. After the Texans game, I don't think I can really rule them out of anything, and that includes a Super Bowl victory. So
win by 20 after being down by 20.
Like it's just you've never seen something like that before. Mahomes is just on a different level than anybody else right now. He's far and away the best quarterback in the playoffs. That includes Aaron Rodgers. I just think, everything you said, Mike. I think it's just he's going to show you how great he is. They're just going to drop over 30 on him. So I think this one is where the road for the Titans ends in Arrowhead. I think the Chiefs really finally get the AFC championship victory they deserved this year. And I say they take it and punch their ticket to the Super Bowl with a score of 41-20. I'm going to say it's not even
blowout.
Close. Not even close, yep.
Oof. The Titans are coming into this game with momentum. They're coming into this game with nothing to lose, house money. They've accomplished everything they've had to accomplish this season. They have all momentum in the world. Derrick Henry's the postseason MVP. But the pressure is solely on the Kansas City Chiefs. There is no New England Patriots to stop you. There is no Baltimore Ravens to stop you. You came back and had a tremendous comeback against the Houston Texans. Now is the time for Pat Mahomes. The window is wide open for Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs to make it to a Super Bowl. Here it is. Andy Reid needs to get to the Super Bowl and he needs to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. I think it'll be close. I'll go 30-20 because the Chiefs have the 26th ranked rushing defense all year long. Derrick Henry ran for 180 yards the last time they met. I think he'll have another pretty good day. I think he'll have another pretty good day. Give me Derrick Henry and the Titans to rush for over 120 yards. But I'll say the Chiefs win 30-20 as the Chiefs move on to the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised. We're all on the Chiefs.
My biggest X factor in this game for the Kansas City Chiefs will be their own running attack with Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy, especially Damian Williams. But the biggest thing for the Titans, if they're going to win this game, if the Titans are going to win this game, is for offensive line to run the football to keep Pat Mahomes on the sidelines. They do that, the Titans could win this game. I just think it's too much offense for the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense will hold off Tannehill. They'll do what they can against Henry. I don't think anyone can stop Henry right now. But I'll take the Chiefs 30-20 and then move on to the Super Bowl. Next up, in the NFC title for the NFC Championship game, Niners-Packers. Niners favored by 7.5 in Levi Stadium. Guys, we all have the Chiefs. Who's going on to face the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Niners and the Packers.
I'm actually a lot more certain about this one. I'm going to take the 49ers. Listen, they have the number. They have the Packers number at this point. The last time they played, it was a 37-8 Niners win. It's in Santa Clara, so the home field advantage is for the 49ers. That front seven is going to really make the difference. They're going to get after Aaron Rodgers. They're going to make him move out of the pocket quite a bit. And I don't think the Packers have the perimeter players to get it done. I think the Niners are going to control the time of possession with their running game. They're going to just better coach again. Kyle Shanahan over Matt LaFleur. Give me the 49ers. This one I think is going to be even more lopsided. I'm going to say give me the Niners 31. I'll say 31-18 over the Packers.
This is going to be an interesting game because the way that the 49ers defense is really heavily stacked is going to force Green Bay to kind of play outside of their strength. Their strength all year has been Aaron Jones, running the football. They really don't have a number 2 wide receiver outside of, it's Devontae Adams. You got Jimmy Graham as a tight end, and you got a bunch of guys that can just, that are just on the field. No one really super effective. Nothing could really, no difference makers.
Right.
Aaron Jones was tied with McCaffrey this year for the scrimmage yards and for the scrimmage touchdowns. Testing that against this San Francisco front seven, which has been the best in football all year, I think it's going to force a real problem, and I think it's just going to be, again, heavily favored for San Francisco because of those reasons, and I say that they're going to also punch their ticket for the Super Bowl this Sunday at home. I say it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think that they're going to win by at least a touchdown. I say 31-23 San Francisco.
I'm going to say 27-24 San Francisco. I think this game will be much closer than the last time. Green Bay is a good football team. They have what you got to have to win a Super Bowl. Go on the road, a good rushing attack, a decent offensive line, setting up play action, a big body receiver like Devontae Adams, a pass rush that I think could really pay dividends in this game. But I just think it'll be too much San Francisco. They're just a little bit better. Good offensive line, a great defensive front seven. Another good running game. I think San Francisco will make just one more play than the Packers in this game. 27-24, San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan go to their first Super Bowl, and they'll take on Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes will go to his first Super Bowl, Andy Reid his second. Roll on the Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I am praying for this matchup. Praying for it. Which means it's going to be Titans-Packers, which I'm not going to get both of these games right. So I'm telling you right now, though,
I'm good with that.
49ers-Chiefs is the matchup we should all be rooting for.
Yeah, 100%.
All should be rooting for.
Absolutely.
And then the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they wear the red jerseys, and then the Niners, they wear the all white with the red lettering and
the gold.
Oh, yes. That's a Super Bowl.
That's nice.
That is a Super Bowl. Telling you right now, Niners Chiefs is what everybody should be rooting for. Telling you right now. So there we go. We're all on Niners. We're all on Chiefs.
This is Andy Reid.
So we're diverse. We're all three of us are taking both favorites. Great. Real exciting, guys. Way to be diverse.
This is Andy Reid's best shot to win a Super Bowl. This is Andy
I'm
Reid.
with you.
If Andy Reid, and I think that's another big story that really isn't getting talked about in this conference title game matchup. Yeah, I know it's cold.
It is cold
It's really
in here.
cold.
I'm freezing,
I just bundled up
actually.
my sweater. I just bundled up my sweatshirt.
You're like a little penguin, Ed.
Andy Reid, yeah, no. I got, dude.
He's a little waddle.
Like a little
Waddle.
penguin, dude.
Dude, I did get called out sometimes, like middle school. They'd be like, "Yo, you look like a penguin." I'm like, yeah,
March of the Evans.
Wow, that's a March of the Evans.
March of the Evans.
You thought that was a good one, didn't you?
I did. I actually thought, like, in my head, I'm like, yo, March of the Evans. Say March of the Evans. And I'm like, hey, March of the
Say it
Evans.
right now. Say it right now.
That will
right
get
now.
people to laugh.
It's like,
Say it
boom.
right now.
Comedy.
Wish I had the Mad Money soundboard up. Put the clapping. No, I think this is Andy Reid's best shot at the Super Bowl. After 20 years, he's been to only one in his career. Numerous postseason failures. Almost was there last year. Was an offsides away from being there last year. This is his best shot. This is finally his best shot to win his first, because he's such a great football coach without a ring, and it's just
that's a story that's going underappreciated. Andy Reid going to a Super Bowl with the chance to win it for the first time in his career. Andy Reid needs a Super Bowl.
He does.
He needs a Super Bowl.
He's already
good of a coach to not have one.
He's already a Hall of Fame coach. He's already one of the best coaches of this generation. But yeah, he needs a ring, right? And it's really amazing that he's only been to one. Again, it tells you how hard it is to get to a Super Bowl. Reid's only been to one out of all the great teams he's had: Kansas City and Philadelphia.
It's a testament to how long he's been in the league for. The last quarterback that he went to the Super Bowl with was Donovan McNabb.
I mean, Mike Vrabel. It's hard. It's really hard. But you got to figure Mike Vrabel will eventually get a Super Bowl. You got to figure Shanahan is going to win a Super Bowl. You got to figure Matt LaFleur could definitely win a Super Bowl. It's
I see
definitely
Shanahan
hard.
definitely could.
Yeah.
Matt
very well be
LaFleur,
the
I
first.
think, is least likely to win one. Out of all the guys that you just named, Matt LaFleur is least likely. Because if he doesn't win it with Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, it's
I mean,
not
that's
really-
it's going to be tough. And if he doesn't win it with Aaron Rodgers, we don't know how long he's going to be with Green Bay.
Well, as long as the window is open for Rodgers, the window will be open for LaFleur to get one. I think you still have at least three or again, Rodgers.
Well, it
35
depends.
now,
I mean,
35,
Aaron
36?
Rodgers, I think is.
He's got what, a couple of decent.
I
years?
think he's got maybe
3-4 years.
I think he's got two. I think he has 2 really good years left. After that, you're going to start seeing the pretty heavy dip. You got to keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers, what, 36?
35, 36.
35-ish.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers just finished his age 30. All right, so he's in his age 36 season right now.
Yeah, so he'll be 36 next.
So if he's great till he's 38, then I think that's realistic.
Well, look at these guys. I mean, Breeze just turned 41. Brady's 40.
But I don't think Aaron is that guy. Aaron's like Breeze and Brady.
I don't think the gap between Breeze and Rodgers is that high.
No, but it has nothing to do with the gap. It has everything to do with their style of play. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is.
Breeze doesn't throw the ball down the field. Rodgers that's his specialty.
Well, and Rodgers is the roll out of the pocket, athletic.
Right.
Do the crazy athletic things. And in his older age, Rodgers might not be able to do that anymore. I mean, you got to keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers has not been overly accurate throughout his career. He's not like Drew Brees, where he's going to complete 73% of his throws.
Right.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers is going to complete 63% of his throws and be done with it. You got to kind of expect that to take a dip. I say, like I said, after another 2 seasons, which is why I'm saying, that's part of the reason why I'm saying the Packers have to do everything they can to get Aaron Rodgers some perimeter players, so when he can't make the plays, they can.
And they're in similar surroundings right now in terms of weapons. Like, look, think about it. Rodgers has wide receiver 1 Adams, tight end Graham, running back Aaron Jones. Breeze has wide receiver 1 Thomas, tight end Jared Cook, running back Alvin Kamara. So they have the same similar situations right now.
Right.
Breeze has
they both need number 2,
Right.
number 3 receivers.
They need
Yes.
supplementary pieces. Breeze has the far and away better coach, but you're right. Their styles of play are different. But I could see. Yeah, I say Matt LaFleur definitely has the lowest chance. I'm not saying it's not a good chance, but definitely the lowest out of those 4 remaining in the playoffs.
It's always insanely hard. Again, it's insanely hard to get to a Super Bowl. It's insanely hard to get back to a Super Bowl. And I think that's why for Andy Reid's case, it's really imperative. It's important that he gets there now, wins it. And again, not a slight at the Titans, but yes, you look at this matchup. The Chiefs should win this game. But again, we did say that the last 2 weeks. Patriots, they should beat the Titans. Nope. The Ravens, they should beat the Titans. Nope. So it's the conference title game. It's anyone's ball game. So Matt LaFleur, I think he's got at least 3 or 4 years with Rodgers. If Rodgers is going to be 36, I still think he's talented. I think he's talented enough to at least play until he's about 40. Yeah, again, because we're seeing it now. Brady has played until he's 42. Breeze is still playing until he's 40, 41 years old. Peyton played until he was, 30? What was Peyton's last age? Was Peyton 37 in 2015? I think he was.
You're probably
I
right.
think it was 37 in 2015. So he never. I don't think he ever really got to 40. Favre, of course, got to 40.
No, he never got to 40, but
No.
Peyton's decline was a lot sooner because of the injuries.
Right, the next injury, yes.
Right, so
Eli, of course, is 37. So, but guys can get to their 40s. I think Rodgers is talented enough to at least get to the age of 40, where he's still playing at a pretty good level.
right.
They'll have about. I think LaFleur has about 4 years. 4 years of Rodgers.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it,
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Matt.
Friday Athlete Death Match. Here we go.
Matt, this is why you come here. Derrick Henry, 6'3", 248 against Frank Clark, 6'3", 260.
So Derrick Henry,
Yes, against Frank Clark.
6'3", 247 against Frank Clark, who's a D lineman. Jesus.
Have you seen
Who's
this?
6'3", 260.
I'm taking Henry.
Have you seen the
My
size of Derrick
God.
Henry?
I'm still taking Henry.
God, I don't know.
Nope. Derrick Henry all the way. Well, that's the thing. In this death match, is he running at you at any point? Because if he gets some
Yes.
accelerate, oh yes, okay, then boom, game over. Yeah, Frank Clark will die. Because
Yeah, but you
Derrick
don't
Henry-
think Frank Clark can do the same thing? I mean, Frank Clark's a pass rusher. I would
I
take
don't
Frank
care.
Clark.
I don't care. I don't
Frank
care.
Clark is just a monster. I understand it, but there's a difference between a running back and a pass rusher.
Sammy Watkins against Adam Humphries.
Oh, that's a bad one. I don't like that one, Evan.
Sammy Watkins is 6'1", 211, and Adam Humphries is 5'11", 195. Give me Sammy Watkins.
I'll take Sammy, too.
We're going a little blast of the past here. 6'3", 240, Eddie George. 5'9", 213, Priest Holmes.
Oh,
Ooh,
man.
okay, that's a good one. Eddie George, 6'3", 235, and Priest Holmes.
Eddie George was 6'3".
Priest Holmes was 5'9", 213.
I'll take Eddie.
I would take Eddie, too.
I didn't know Eddie was
He's just so much
6'3".
bigger.
Yeah, wow.
Another blast of the past. Chris Johnson, 5'11", 203 versus Jamal Charles, 5'11", 199.
So Chris Johnson is 5'11", 195, and who'd you say?
Jamal Charles, 5'11", 199.
Jamal Charles. I would probably say Chris Johnson.
Yeah,
I'd probably say Chris Johnson.
I would take.
He was fast as hell, but he could.
I would take Chris Johnson, but because Jamal Charles, we saw how injury prone that guy was. Probably can't take pain very well.
Right.
That's not a slight to him, but still.
Plus, Chris Johnson's a thick
You know,
guy, and he's fast
he's
as
the
hell.
best fantasy football running back of all time. Jamal
For
Charles.
one season.
Jamal
Oh,
Charles?
Yeah, Jamal Charles.
really?
Yeah. He has the single best fantasy football performance for a running back.
Wow.
Hold on, I'll look it up. Keep thinking though, Ev. I'll find it.
Derek Johnson at 6'3", 245 against Keith Bullock at 6'3", 245.
All right, so Derek Johnson, 6'3", 242, and who was the other guy?
Keith Bullock, the old outside linebacker for the Tennessee Titans. Also was a New York Giant.
Wow. That's tough, but I'd probably take Derek Johnson. I would probably take Derek Johnson. Close, though.
No, it's close. It's definitely close. Keith Bullock was, I remember watching Keith
A
Bullock.
beast.
Oh, he was a beast. Devontae Adams at 6'1", 215 against Richard Sherman at 6'3", 195.
I take Devontae. I think I take Devontae.
6'1", 215, and Richard Sherman
Michael Sherman.
is 6'3", 195.
I take Devontae.
Devontae Adams shorter but heavier. Richard Sherman is taller but lighter. Give me Sherman.
I'm sorry, my mom's watching it. She was like, wave. So I was like, okay. So I waved. She's like, I
was gonna
can't
say,
see
wait,
it.
who's over there?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, you're waving to the camera.
I waved at the camera, but yeah.
Did I
that
ruin
happened.
it? I ruined it. I'm sorry.
No. All
Hi,
right.
Mrs. Catarazzolo.
All right, so it's Devontae. I think I'm taking Devontae.
I'd probably take Sherman. I would
Yikes.
probably take Sherman. Slightly, I would take Sherman. Slightly. But I would probably take Richard Sherman.
Brian Bulaga at 6'5", 314 versus
Iowa.
Eric Armstead at 6'7", 292.
Wait, Brian Bulaga, Iowa.
Iowa.
Versus who?
Eric Armstead at 6'7", 292.
Oh my god, dude. I'm definitely taking Armstead.
All right, Eric Armstead is 6'7", 292. Bulaga is 6'5", 314. I'd probably take Armstead, but it would be close, though, because Balaga's a big guy. Balaga's big. I don't know. I would take Armstead, but slightly.
Armstead.
Joe Staley at 6'5", 295 against Preston Smith at 6'5", 265.
I take Preston. Staley's older. Staley's kind of
Joe
old.
Staley's 6'5", 295, and Preston Smith. Preston Smith is 6'5", 265. Yeah, I'd probably take Preston. Close, again. I'd probably take Preston, though.
Yeah, I'll take Preston also.
Aaron Jones at 5'9", 208 against one of my favorite names and players in the NFL, Kyle Juszczyk at 6'1", 240.
Oh, Juszczyk.
I like Juszczyk a lot.
I think I'd have to take Juszczyk. 6'1", 240, 5'9", 208. Give me Juszczyk.
Yeah, I take Juszczyk. Just a pit bull of a player. I like that guy a lot.
Another blast from the past. Here we go. Patrick Willis at 6'1", 240 against Clay Matthews, 6'3", 255.
Oh, wow.
So Patrick Willis in his prime against Clay Matthews in his prime.
Clay was the best linebacker in football in one period in time, dude. I think
Patrick Willis was 6'1", 242, and Clay, who's still playing, by the way, is 6'3", 255. Clay Matthews is bigger.
I still think I'd say Clay. Damn, I'd take Clay.
I'm going to disagree. I would take Patrick Willis. Patrick Willis was such an animal. He was such an animal, and he could definitely still be playing.
All right, here we go. Last one. Charles Woodson at 6'1", 210 versus the general manager of the 49ers in his prime, John Lynch at 6'2", 220.
Who was the other one?
Charles Woodson at 6'1", 210.
So, might have to take Lynch.
John Lynch is 6'2", 220. Woodson 6'1", 210. I'd take Lynch.
I'd take Lynch, too.
I would take John Lynch. Hard-hitting safety, John Lynch. All right, so there we go. That's Friday Athlete Deathmatch. The music ended right on the dot, too.
Wow.
That was pretty sick.
159, boom. I think it's one time.
Yeah,
I think that's the final, the first time we've done deathmatch that it didn't take us to like 2:30. I like that. Very time efficient.
Yeah, well, it's the obligation of the host to cut the segment. Just based on, You know what? Never mind. I'm just going to stop.
You know what?
Whatever.
Fine, dude. Whatever.
Don't
even
even worry about it. It's fine.
Anybody got one more they want to add?
Matt Catarazzolo, Big J journalist, Evan Mazza, my producer. I'm Mike Guido. This is the Haystack on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.